Campfire Classics is a classic literature podcast. However, your hosts will occasionally use not-so-classy language and immature humor to describe very mature situations. As such, listener discretion is advised. Hi, I'm Ken Sandberg.
And I'm Heather Michelle Lawler.
Welcome to Campfire Classics, where we try to read those books that look really good on your shelf.
That voice that made me think of 70s porn.
All right. I mean, it was, as I was speaking, I found myself going, this is a little Troy McClure.
Yeah.
So that could be.
Because
I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such podcasts as a review of 1970s porn.
There you go. Yeah. Good day, everyone.
How you doing? Welcome to Campfire Classics, a porn review show.
Oh, God, I do not want to do that. So that would actually be, you know what?
A Ron Jeremy fan cast.
You know what? That would actually be fucking hilarious. Like, if you did like a live watch, so it'd be like a YouTube podcast. It'd have to be visual. But like a live, kind of like what we do with books and stories, but live watching of like old porn.
Mystery Science Pornhub 3000.
Like you're rewatching like School of Cock and like stuff like the ones that are very heavily based on like movies and stuff like that.
Yep.
And you just do a live reaction of like, oh no, here comes stepmom or
yeah. I can also imagine just being like the internet's Siskel and Ebert for it's like a review show.
For porn.
For porn.
Like actually like legit. It's like, this one just got to the point a little too soon. I knew where it was going. I didn't feel any surprise when yada yada happened with yada yada. Yeah.
The title was a little bit of a spoiler, as Debbie does indeed do Dallas.
School of Cock disappointed. There was not nearly enough cock and much more meow.
And entirely too much school.
Schooling. You'd think if they were at this level of their skill, they would be better at it. Anyway, that's not what we do here.
Our
but
star,
now I have a
Evan
weird...
Everhard, really should have spent more time at the School of Cock.
Evan Everhard.
I don't know. That's probably someone's name, realistically.
His pelvic thrusting was not up to par. Lord, was not up to par in the same way it was in Billy Madison Does America. Or no, it wasn't. No, Happy Gilmore. I tried to make it like par.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. But now I have a really good idea.
Something about Tiger in the Sack.
Tiger's Wood. Hey.
There it is.
There it is.
We got there.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Well, if you're interested in that, you should let us know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one your mom will listen to or watch. Though.
Probably not. Probably not. So we now have, waiting on fans to request it, we now have a porn review podcast and a rewatch podcast of JP Patches.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Waiting for a request.
Which I am fine that you not bring that up ever.
Yeah. So while I was thinking about last week's show, because a listener brought it up, it occurred to me that, so I did a little bit of a research into the history of Armenia and into the geography of Armenia. Do you know where it is? Historically speaking, it was sandwiched between Russia, the Ottoman Empire, and the Persian Empire. So you had these three, basically like Turkey, Russia, and Iran,
like
trying
dictatorships,
to fight over it. So I found myself wondering if maybe the reason their folklore is all such a fucking mess is because they were trying to please all of their many and various different cultural influences and overlords or whatever.
That could be. that very well could be. Or they're just smoking the good drugs to forget that they're being sandwiched between these three.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's go to the sun child and the dragon child. Yeah, we had a lot of comments on last week's episode of like, what the damn hell was that?
Maybe they just thought they were only allowed one folk tale and they had to squeeze everything into that one.
Well, that was like what one of our listeners, Doug, mentioned. He was like, I guess in Armenia you get one fairy tale and that's it. So you better get them all in there at once and then you're done. So, yeah, thank you for the responses to that. It was a wild ride for us as well. But I think the responses have been pretty funny.
Absolutely worth it, yeah. And, hey, if you're a first-time listener and if we're doing our job right, which we rarely are, every episode is somebody's first episode. Go back and listen to last week and you'll understand the last minute and a half of this podcast. And
the title of that episode was Safe Word, Goat's Milk.
Yeah.
Which will make more sense when you listen to it. So, yeah, we've stopped numbering the episodes at this point because we've had a lot. We lost track, and there were a lot of, like, the special episodes with, like, the poo corner and stuff like that.
Episode number
many far into the future, so we'll just refer to them as by their title, which is Safe Word Goat's Milk. Go check that shit out.
This week should be interesting. It'll be the longest I have spoken continuously since having my teeth removed. And
not true. You recorded last week's episode after having your teeth removed.
You did the reading.
Oh, that's true. Okay. I was like, not true at all. We definitely recorded.
We did.
I know you don't remember the first like 12-ish hours of after the surgery, but I was like, wow, if you don't remember the next day, we have to talk.
Yeah. Nope, I remember recording it. I remember editing it. We were just talking about it. But no, I actually have to read the story this week, so that'll be interesting.
And on the theme of last week's, if we want to segue into what we do here.
Sure, we can segue.
I have picked an author from another country.
All right.
Do you want to tell? We read stories. Ken usually does a preface of what we do.
So far you're killing it.
Okay, great. I love it. So we read some stories every other week. I pick one or Ken picks one, and then the opposite person reads it, and then we make fart jokes, make comments, make philosophical debate throughout the stories. But usually it's just silly. But there's some really good literature. So this week, did I do a good job?
Yeah. Fabulous. I think so. Hey, listener, go ahead and write in to 5050artsproduction@gmail.com or shoot us a message on any of our social media. Just look for Campfire Classics and let Heather know how you felt about her general recap of what the show is.
My intro. I've never done that. That's always you. So, but I felt the segue coming. So, So last week we did, of course, a reader from Armenia, or a writer from Armenia.
Our reader was
us and was very confused. This week, our writer is from Bengali.
Oh, okay.
Is a Bengali writer, and his name is, and I'm going to play the like Wikipedia, like listen to this onto the thing, because I will destroy it. The name, and then I will try and say it from them, and then I'm going to give him a really lovely nickname because
you're American, and that's what we do with people who have names we can't pronounce. We give them easy nicknames.
You will understand this in a minute. Where did it go? Just a second. Oh, there it is.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Yes. So that is his name as pronounced by someone who speaks this language, because of course his stories have been translated very famously, which I will talk about. So we're going to call him Rabi, which is the first four letters of his name. Rabindranath Tagore was born on May 7th, 1861. He is a Bengali poet, writer, playwright, composer, philosopher, social reformer, and painter.
All right. Busy boy.
He just got to work. So he's fascinating. I was like, I could do a lot on him, but I don't want to give too much away because he wrote a shit ton of short stories. And And they're all kind of in our money spot of like the length we like of the ones I saw.
Literary money shots.
Literary
gotcha.
money shots, going back to our theme. So he really he is known as reshaping Bengali literature and music, as well as Indian art and contextual modernism in the late 19th and 20th century and early 20th centuries. So he's kind of a national hero. Rabi or Tagore's poetic songs are viewed as spiritual and mercenal. However, his elegant prose and magical poetry is not really known outside of Bengal, except for the only things that are really kind of got out of the country are his short stories. So in Bengal, he is, or Bengali, he is Bengali. Bengal is the country. He is considered the Bard of Bengal. So, like on the level of Shakespeare. He was born in Calcutta, and his ancestral roots go way back, but skipping all the family stuff, he started writing when he was 8. And by the age of 16, so he had a very interesting childhood. Both of his parents were away a lot, and he was raised by servants. Now, Bengal, or in India at this time, were like heavily colonized by the British. And that also plays into him. So he started writing poetry when he was just 8 years old. By the time he was 16, he had released his first substantial poetry collection under the pseudonym, and Bahushama, but it translates to Sun Lion.
Okay.
Cool. Which I found funny because last week we read Sunchild.
Sunchild, yeah.
I was like, uh-oh. So that was his first collection of poetries at just the age of 16. They were seized by the literary authorities as long-lost classics. So they were seized to like try and protect them from being destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Not seized as in censored. Seized as in we have to protect this shit.
We have to protect this stuff because, of course, when he released it, it was probably a very small release. And, you know. By 1877, he had graduated to his first short stories and dramas that he began publishing under his real name because, again, the first ones were under a pseudonym. So he was well known for many, many things, all the things I read before, but he was also a humanist, a universalist, an internationalist, and an Arctic critic of nationalism. He absolutely was very vocal of his denouncing of the British Raj and advocated for independence from Britain.
All right.
Very, very, very huge advocate for that. There was a lot of information on like the whole timeline of like how he used his platform to like really rise up and say we need to be free, we deserve to be our own country and stuff. But I won't go into all that. Colonization bad. Speaking up for your human rights good. So he was on the right side of history there. So between 1878 and 1932, Tagore set foot in more than 30 countries on 5 continents, traveling and reading and doing his work. In 1912, he took a bunch of his translated works to England, where they gained attention from a Gandhi protege, Charles F. Andrews. They also drew the attention of William Butler Yeats, Ezra Pound, Robert Bridges, Thomas Sturge Moore, and many other writers of the time. So they were like, Who is this guy? You're good. Like, why haven't we heard of you? So good for him. And then in November of 1912, he got to tour the United States to read his works. So mostly known for his poetry, he also wrote many other things, including novels. The story we're going to read today was turned into a play. I will say that right now. I know that. He wrote travelogues, thousands of songs. And his prose and short stories, as I said, were the highest regarded. Now, he had 2 really cool things happen to him in his life. He was the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Cool.
In 1913. So right after he had done all these tours of England and got all that attention and then went to the United States and got that attention, he was the very first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, which I think is just amazing. But then here's a crazy fucking story that happened after he died. his Nobel Prize was stolen. So on March 25th, 2004, Tagore's Nobel Prize was stolen from the safety vault in the Vishnubharati University, along with several other of his belongings. So on December 7th of 2004, the Swedish Academy decided to present 2 replicas to Tagore's Nobel Prize. So they made one of gold, which is the standard, and then another of bronze, and they gave them both to the Vishnubharati University. It inspired a fictional film called Noble Corps, which I'm interested in now. It's like a heist, like heisting of a
Gonna
fucking
go steal a Nobel
Prize. Like, what the fuck? And then in 1916, a Bali singer named Pradip Barai was accused of sheltering the thieves and was arrested. So, ... That's all I had there. So I'm like, ooh, is this still an unsolved crime? Or like, did this guy